Wednesday, the Ogun State Governor Dakpo Abiodun was elected as the new chairman of the Southern Governors Forum. The Southern Governors Forum serves as a collective body for the 17 governors from the southwest, south-south and southeast geopolitical zones of Nigeria. While the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, emerged the vice chairman, Abiodun emerged as the SGF chairman after the death of Rotimi Akeredolu. 16 governors were in attendance, except the governor of Rivers State, Timnalai Fubara. The governors had a closed-door meeting which lasted for about 5 hours at the Presidential Lodge, Abeokuta, and Ogun State capital. Abiodun, while briefing newsmen after the meeting, said he was humbled to have been nominated to lead the Southern Governors Forum, alongside with Professor Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, as the vice chairman of the forum. And still on Monday, Justice Nnamdi Ndigba of the Federal High Court, Abuja, struck out a 24-count amended charge bordering an alleged 1.219 billion naira money laundering filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against Biodun Agbele and 3 others. Agbele, who stood trial in the criminal charges for almost 8 years, was one of the closest political allies of former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose. Delivering ruling in a no-case submission argued by Chief Mike Ozokume San for the accused person, Justice Dingba held that Agbele has no case to answer in the charges following the failure of the EFCC to establish the ingredients of the alleged offences as required by law. The EFCC had accused Agbele and 3 others of indirectly accepting 1.219 billion naira in cash through an official of Zenith Bank in Akure, Ondo State, from the then Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musliu Obanikoro, on behalf of Ayodele Fayose. In June 2014, Agbele was alleged to have carried out the act without going through a financial institution, contrary to the provisions of Section 1, subsection A of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act. On Tuesday, during a hearing organized by the House Committee on Public Account Committee, a senior custom officer, Esianetob Andrew, who was the Deputy Controller of Finance, Administration and Technical Service, passed away after developing sudden health complications. Despite the immediate efforts of his first responders and medical personnel at the National Assembly Clinic, he unfortunately did not survive. Still on Tuesday, stakeholders and members of the House of Representatives Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility have deferred on a bill for an act to regulate corporate social responsibility in Nigeria and other related matters. The divergent views came up during a public hearing on the bill on Tuesday in Abuja. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Lillian Orugbu, expressed displeasure over the absence of telecom giants such as MTN and Airtel, despite the enabling environment given them by government to operate. Stakeholders such as the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Communication Commission, who were at the hearing, supported the bill, saying that the proposed amendment will ensure all parties are protected. Earlier, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was represented by the House Majority Leader, Honorable Julius Ihunvere, spelled out the essence of the proposed amendment to the bill, while calling on all stakeholders to make useful contributions to the bill. On Wednesday, former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, filed a case against the Kaduna House of Assembly, seeking to enforce his fundamental human rights. The suit alleges that he was denied a fair hearing during the investigation by the House of Assembly into alleged misuse of public funds. El-Rufai, alongside former commissioners who served under his administration, filed the suit at the Federal High Court in Kaduna. The Kaduna House of Assembly had inaugurated a 13-man ad hoc committee to examine the loans, grants and project implementations during El-Rufai's tenure as governor of Kaduna State. The committee report adopted by the House indicted El-Rufai and some key members of his cabinet for alleged corruption in the awards of contracts and management of both domestic and foreign loans obtained by his government. Still on Wednesday, there was a fire outbreak at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Lekki Free Zone near Lagos, Nigeria's commercial nerve center. Workers were seen outside the section of the Dangote Refinery not affected by the fire incident. A correspondent who could not immediately ascertain the cause of the inferno, which was raging, reacting to the incident, the Chief Corporate Communication Officer of Dangote Group, Anthony Chejina, disclosed in a statement that the fire had been contained and there is no cause for alarm. He described ETAP as a type of wastewater treatment method which is specifically designed to purify industrial wastewaters for its reuse. to release safe water to the environment from the harmful effect caused by the effluent. He said the fire had been contained, adding that this was a minor incident and it would not in any way affect the operations at the refinery. On Thursday, the National Assembly granted an extension to the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2023 from 30th June 2024 to 31st December 2024, following a request by President Bola Tinubu. The Senate implementation of the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Bill till 31st December 2024. President Tinubu seeks the extension of two budgets until 31st December to allow for a full implementation of the law. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the passage followed the emergency plenary convened, which was preceded by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, on Thursday. The leader of the Senate, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, and sponsor of the executive bill, led the debate on the general principles of the bill. Supporting the passage of the bill, lawmakers speedily okayed the request as bills went through the three stages of bill passage on the same day. In his remark, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, thanked senators for their understanding and patriotism and expressed his belief that implementation would allow the executive to complete all abandoned projects. And still on Thursday, the Nigerian Senate has denied approving the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima as speculated. There were reports that President Tinubu was seeking the National Assembly approval of funds for the purchase of a new presidential jet. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during Thursday's emergency plenary session, declared that there is the presence of a fifth columnist doing everything possible to destabilize the parliament. Akpabio said this in corroboration of the observation raised by the leader of the Senate, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, that the Senate purports to give backing towards the procurement of a new presidential aircraft. The senators had cut short emergency session to consider a bill for an act to amend the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Act to further extend its implementation to December 31st, 2024, as requested by Tinubu. And on Friday, the Supreme Court acquitted a sergeant in the Nigerian Army, Akawu Bala, from the death sentence previously handed down by the General Court Martial. Sergeant Bala had been on death row for 12 years in the Kaduna prison, awaiting confirmation of his sentence. His appeal to the Supreme Court was heard on March 16, 2017, where a 5-justice panel unanimously ruled in his favor. Bala was accused of fatally shooting Isa Mohammed on December 9, 2012, while stationed at an African petroleum station in Sabon Tasha, Kaduna. Mohammed succumbed to his injuries the following day at St. Gerard's Catholic Hospital. Charged with murder under Section 106 of the Armed Forces Act 2014, Bala was tried by the General Court Martial and sentenced to death by hanging. His initial appeal was dismissed by the Kaduna Division of the Court of Appeal on February 17, 2017, which found procedural errors in the trial but did not discharge Bala, prompting an appeal to the Supreme Court. Representing Bala, Senior Advocate of Nigeria Reuben Okpanachi Atabo argued that the flawed trial should result in Bala's discharge, citing Section 193 of the Armed Forces Act 2014, which prohibits retrials after a voided trial. And still on Friday, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) said the tenure of office of all elected chairmen and councillors in the 6th Area Council of the FCT will come to an end in June 2026, warning those interested in contesting the election to be guided by the provisions of the law. Speaking at a consultative meeting with members of the Inter-Party Advisory Council in Abuja, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu said, by the provisions of the law, the tenure of office of every elected official begins the day such a person takes the oath of office. He explained that the Electoral Act 2022 guarantees a 4-year tenure for the chairman and councillors and not the 3 years provided in the Electoral Act 2010. The chairman noted that the Commission had earlier received inquiries from some law firms, individuals, political parties, and FCT chairmanship aspirant forum regarding the tenure of the Area Council, demanding the Commission to release the timetable and schedule of activities for the Area Council elections. And that's all we have on Tracking the Week.